Hi and welcome to Math Pre-Calculus 20, Section 7.3, Absolute Value Equations, Example 4. Alright, so this one, we have absolute value of x squared minus 2x is equal to 1. So, as always, we have two cases, and first off, we just check, okay, this is isolated, right? It's by itself. So we've got case 1, we've got case 2, this one we want quite a bit of space for. Alright, so we've got the case where x squared minus 2x equals 1, and we've got the case where negative bracket x squared minus 2x equals 1. So now looking at this, well, these aren't linear equations like we had every other time. These are going to be quadratics. So to solve a quadratic, right, we want to bring everything to one side. So we have x squared minus 2x minus 1 equals 0. Okay, now we want to try and factor that. Well, two numbers that multiply to give negative 1 and add to give negative 2. Unfortunately, that's impossible. Alright, so we can't factor that, so we have to use something, perhaps the quadratic formula. Right, so it'll be x equals negative 2 plus or minus the square root of negative 2 squared minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is negative 1, all over 2 times a, which is 1. We simplify this here, and we get positive 2 plus or minus square root of, that's negative 2 squared is 4. Alright, so this part here is 4 plus, and this part works out to be positive 4, right, because we've got the two negatives, so plus 4. So we get the square root of 8 all over 2. Okay, that's a little bit messy, but I'll maybe fix that. So square root of 8 all over 2. Okay, and now we can simplify this. Square root of 8 is equal to 2 square root 2 all over 2, and then we look, okay, is there anything common to all three terms? And yes, it's staring us in the face. The 2, and the 2 all can reduce to be 1s. We can't do anything with this 2 in here, so we're left with x equals 1 plus or minus 1 square root 2, or just square root 2 all over 1, or just like that. So now we have two solutions here, right? We have x equals 1 plus square root 2, and x equals 1 minus square root 2, and we'd want to go through and verify that those ones work. Okay, it's kind of a tricky verification you're going to have to do. You might call it FOIL or distribution on those. So just for example, for this first one, if we want to verify this first solution, it would be the absolute value of, in the spot of x, we have 1 plus square root of 2 squared, take away 2 times 1 plus square root of 2. Absolute value of all that is that equal to 1. Okay, and I've gone through that. I'll leave that to you though, and then we have to do the same thing with the 1 minus square root 2. Okay, so we want to see, right, are these solutions here, are they both valid? There's only one valid, right? So go through that and see. Over here, case 2, cross our fingers that we don't have to use quadratic formula, so we get negative x squared plus 2x equals 1, right? That's distributing the negative. So then we have negative x squared plus 2x, take away 1 equals 0. So we could do decomp here, or we notice that if we have a negative here, we can just divide both entire sides by negative 1, or multiply both sides by negative 1 and get x squared minus 2x plus 1 equals 0, so that simply changes all the signs. Now we're looking for two numbers that add to give negative 2, multiply to give 1. Right, those numbers can be x take away 1, x take away 1 equals 0. Right, and now we solve this, we get x equals 1, and the other one's also x equals 1, so we only need to do it once. This verification I think I'm up for. So absolute value of 1 squared take away 2 times 1, is that equal to 1? Well, looking at this, we have absolute value of 1, take away 2. Is that equal to 1? Well, that's going to be 1 take away 2 is negative 1. Absolute value of negative 1 is 1. So yeah, it works. Right, so this solution works for sure. Those other two, right, I'll still leave for you to verify if they work or not. Okay, so this is different from all the other ones because we have the x squared. Right, so as soon as we have this x squared here or here, we know that we're going to have to solve a quadratic. Luckily, we've been solving quadratics for a long time, so we should be getting comfortable with that. Okay, thanks for watching.